Hello. So this weekend we got the stripper put back together. Took Dad and I. It was a chore, but everything is buttoned back up. It was a chore. We had to kind of get industrious. I don't know where the tool is, but we had to make we could not get that fan on. That was a challenge. So we made we welded 2 bolts together to make a stud to be able to slide it on to get it lined up, and then got them started. I can't find the little thing we made, but it was just literally 2 bolts welded together. I don't know where it went, but I need to keep that for the future. But finally got that put back together. This was Saturday. We were running to go to Abilene and started it up. Got the radiator, put some water in, got it running. No leaks on the radiator that we can tell, but then we saw a leak on the crankshaft seal, which is not at all what we wanted to see. So, I mean, it was slinging oil everywhere. That's no good. So that's the water pump right there. That was leaking. It appears to be good, but right behind that belt, if you can see where this belt is, right back there, that's that crankshaft seal we were working on, and oil is just pouring out and then just getting slung everywhere. So it's not doing it while it's sitting, and it never really has, but that's disheartening to see because we spent a lot of time doing that, and you can't get to all that without doing what we just did, undoing it again. But that seal, we had to use that special tool to get it to drive in just right. I don't know what we could have done different. So this is where I've been praying about this since we left and hoping that it was going to be fine. The longer we ran it, it seemed to maybe get a little bit better. It was a weird seal, 2 kind of seals put together is what it looked like, and there was some grease in there. Maybe that grease was getting liquefied and kind of pouring out. But then this is why I'm thankful that I have Dad. We looked at this. There's a ventilation tube that runs to the top of on the valve cover to let some of the air pressure out. And we thought, maybe that tube is clogged, and then the path of least resistance for that pressure to go, maybe to push through that around that seal. I really am praying, hoping that that's the case, because I don't want to have to do all that over again. So Dad and I are going to look over that, try to maybe get this. Here's the tube. It was pushing out air. We've moved it. It's not where it sits, but it's going to be a little bit of a chore to get to. Maybe we take that hose off. Maybe we can get to it fairly easy. So that's really all the update I have for you, is that we got it together and it still leaked. So I just wanted to walk out here. This cotton is, I don't know if it's a good representation or not, but now that it's been a week since we started getting these rains, just kind of want to see what things look like. You know, this stuff on the ground, not what you want to see, but these little bowls, will they keep getting bigger? That's what we'll have to wait and see. There's not much on there, and what is on there is kind of is on the small side. So hoping that we'll continue to, maybe we can get some growth here at the top and get some more blooms. Right now it's not blooming. I'm afraid this is just pitched everything it had off. So hoping that we'll get some blooming and maybe we can make a top crop with maybe some surprises. Gosh, it was trying, man, wasn't it? That's good to see bowls in those positions right there close to the middle, but that one feels deformed. So I don't know. I just don't know. I just want to let you know what I've been doing. It's lunch time. It's actually 2:45, but I'm going home for lunch now. Dad and I have been working on the stripper, and I didn't show you any of it because we had the stripper going the entire time. Just thought if we just run that, it seemed like the longer we ran the machine, the better that leak was getting on that crankshaft seal. And I think that's the case, and we think that maybe it stopped leaking. And there's some grease between those two parts of that seal. I don't know if I said that, and maybe some of that was kind of liquefying and flying out. So I don't know. That's my dad. Hold on. All's good. So we got that. I mean, literally it ran for maybe 2 hours, a long time. And while we were doing that, we're watching, and all of a sudden there's like water just like blowing out somewhere. So I sprint to go turn the stripper off, and the hose blew off. Not because of anything wrong, but I forgot to tighten the clamp. That's my bad. That's on me. So tighten your hose clamps. That's important. And so that was a little bit of a chore, but got it done. Almost, it was kind of hot. Almost burned my hand, but got it done. And what else did we do? We got the auger straightened out. I'll show you all this later. And that sucker was stout. I guess the older stuff is stronger than the newer stuff because the auger I took out, not near as hard to bend. And so that's good. I got a high quality auger. So we changed the oil, and it was a good day. And we'll try it again tomorrow. Yes, I do know that 2:45 is not the end of the day, but it is my lunch, and we have a Bible study tonight, and so I gotta get home and shower and make sure I'm ready for that. And I think that's basically it. But yeah, that's why my day is over. Don't judge me, okay? I know some of you other farmers wake up really, really early and work really, really late. You know, sometimes I do that too, but today it's not that kind of day. So take that. Continue to work on this cotton stripper. So it's progressing. It is going pretty well. We thought we were going to get this row unit on the other day, but we had some issues. Where's my issues? Over here. So this locking collar is supposed to go on right here, and it's supposed to be eccentric, and so it gets tighter as you turn. So right in there it starts to get tight. It's supposed to get tight, and then you hammer down right there and it locks it, and there's a set screw, and then we put this piece on. That's what attaches this auger to that auger. Well, the problem is when you start banging on this, it just slips because we think there's some wear right there from that coming loose. So it's not grabbing. So what we decided, what Dad's idea was to get a bunch of these little machine washers, which I'm hoping they fit. Okay, perfect. So what we'll do is we'll take a bunch of these, the thickness between, well, I'll just show you. That's what I do. So that'll go there. And this goes on the splines. So that gap right there, I need that many washers to fill in the gap. And so what we'll do is that will sandwich this to this, and then we'll use that set screw to tighten it off, and so that should keep that from moving. And then there's a nut that goes on there, and then we slide, you see these little keys in there? Those will lock on to this piece there, and that will function what we need to, it will accomplish what we need to accomplish. So I thought we could just knock that out the other day so I could get that. If I could get that done, then I could get this last row unit on, which it's ready. I just need to pick it up and put it here. So if I could get that put back together, I'd have all my row units together. I've got the hydraulic lines, these brackets back on, all the ones I can, and the hoses under here at least started where I can. So the next thing would be need to be able to pick up the stripper to be able to attach all the hoses underneath the lift cylinders that lift the individual units, and which are some other things I could do with it picked up. So I would want to do that. So in the meantime, we had some timing issues. So the way this is supposed to work, these paddles on the augers, along with these here, should all be facing the same direction for timing. And so the guy before, they probably changed the bearing and they didn't have it. So I already fixed this one, but looks like it's a little bit I don't know, I may undo this one to make that a little flatter so they're all in line, but the brush is much more involved and I've got tools everywhere. So what I had to do was take these off of this gear so I could turn that gear sideways. I could take these 4 bolts off of this gear to pull this off and then break that loose, which was very, very difficult because you can't get an impact in here with this hex shaft in the way. And then with that loose, that gear became free. I could turn this to get those aligned, which caused a different problem because you're supposed to have, these are called bats, the rubber, these are called brushes. Those are called bat brushes. We've never run those, but I'm gonna end up changing them anyways. So you're supposed to have brush to bat, and what this is set up now is bat to bat. And so this timing is right, which is important, so that messes that timing up. So I'll have to fix that later. But here's an example of a wrong one. Paddles are good on the augers. This one matches with that, but see how this one is way off? That one needs to turn quite a bit. So I'll do that one in a second. I'll show you after I finish tightening that one up. Here's an example of a really bad one. Well, yeah, really bad. The paddles on the augers are good, but these are way jacked up. So this is the row unit I'm not going to use. It's going to be my extra. I'm actually glad because it has this broken, there's a broken piece right here. And so that was the main reason why I chose this one. But now looking at that, I'm thankful I did that. And this one is all good. Tools and rattling. Uh-oh. Dropped a bolt somewhere. Well, I can't find the thing, the nut. That's unfortunate. It's somewhere hidden in these gears, so. I'm gonna go ahead and get this put back together. Maybe that'll help to find it. These have a spring on them. Luckily, I can still get a nut started, just barely. It's right in there. Can you see it? Very conveniently located. Maybe this magnet will grab it without. No, it will not. I need something long and strong. Try this hose. I got it. Man, that was way more involved than I wanted that to be, but I got it. Let's don't drop anymore. Magnets are great until they stick to everything that you don't want them to stick to. Okay, I'm just gonna tighten those up and then, I'm sweating. Then I'll do the other one, I guess. Ooh, that got me hot. I'm just a sweater and it's humid. So here I am, sweating like crazy. Take a break from doing that next one, and it's just to tell you what else we've got going on. So we drained and changed the hydraulic system, new filters. We were gonna do that anyways, but one of the big reasons was this seal. There's a seal back here on this hydrostat. It was leaking, so that was a pretty easy change. I'm getting new belts for this. I'll have to take this U-joint out again, but not too big of a deal. But those are in. I just got to go get them. So haven't done that yet, but we'll change those belts. And then there's another wear part that I'm going to replace. I changed the air filters. We've changed the oil. I'm going to change the fuel filters here after a while. So all our filters will be, well, and the cabin filter, I need to do that. All the filters and everything and fluids will be changed. But we're unfortunately going to have to do this crankshaft seal again. I think I told you, but it's still leaking. And so you can't see into there, but that involves taking this off again, all the hydraulic hoses. We'll have to take off all of the water pump stuff, but probably still take the belt tensioner off. The fan's gonna come off, which is a pain in the butt. That may be the worst, the part I'm least looking forward to. So what we found out was, man, I gotta get into some air. Hold on. Okay, that's slightly better. So what we found out was that our crankshaft, my crankshaft, is tapered, so it comes to a little bit of a taper. So we looked up the seal. We got the right seal, and the guy at the John Deere mechanic said, "Oh, you need these two tools." It was just the driver and the guide sleeve. I think I showed you that. So thought that was slick. Worked it in. We used our own bolt. We pushed it in, and it didn't work. So got the actual full repair schedule from them, and there's like all these different options for different motors: tapered crankshafts, straight crankshafts, harmonic balancers with a timing wheel, those without. So there's multiple combinations. Well, turns out I have one with a timing belt or timing wheel cover, and it's tapered. So that actually requires 5 tools instead of 2. So we only had 2 of the 5 that we needed. And so and another thing is that it said to not use any kind of gasket sealant, which we did use because we always have, and never thought that we wouldn't. So it needs to be dry. I don't think that's probably what's leaking it. We think maybe it got driven in crooked because the shaft is tapered, and we had this driver that was on it, and it probably was just cocked just a little bit, and so probably drove that seal in at a slight angle, and that's why we're not sealing. So one of the pieces that we don't have makes that tapered crankshaft fit more straight, so that our driving tool fits on it square. And there's a spacer, and then there's a threaded bolt so anyways, I think that's just going to be our issue. It's a total pain because it's not fun to get all that apart. It's doable. It's a lot cheaper than having Deere do it, but it's just annoying. One of the tools we needed, some of the tools were in Abilene, some were in a different place, so hopefully all those are coming in soon, and we can tear this back apart and put it back together again. So until then, we haven't finished filling up the antifreeze because we have to drain that again. And so we've flushed it. The system's been flushed, which is good. We'll just have to drain it again, take all the hoses off, fix that seal. Hopefully it works. Then we'll fill it back up with antifreeze. So bought this stripper at an auction, and it all checked out fairly good. I still think it's a good machine. It's pretty good low hours. The header is what it is. That is not any more than what I expected, or what I actually didn't know what to expect. But that just takes time. It's not hard. We're just getting it done, and I would have it done if not for just needing to finish up that middle section. And so we'll get that done soon, and then the header will be done, and we'll unhook the stripper from the header because we want to do a little bit of bracing where can you see the center cross member, and where it has this long extension brace there. So that had one over there we took off, and so we're going to build like what Dad has on his, a sharp angled extension just to connect to the end, and then we'll put some weights on it to just kind of off balance our header so it's not so heavy on that side. So it's going well. We'll get the header unhooked and get that stuff fabricated, and the stripper engine should be done once we get that seal replaced, and then it should be ready to strip cotton. Alright, just put these filler plates in here that cover the gaps between the row units. I'll wait to do these obviously because that way I can set that one in there, no obstructions, and then I'll put a filler plate either side on that. So I was about to raise the header up and connect these hoses right here that go to those lift cylinders underneath. But I think I'm going to change the fuel filters first so that I can make sure I've got the air out of the system on that. I'll put those in here. So let's go change some fuel filters. I'm not sure exactly what I need, can't remember if I can screw these off by hand or not, but we'll find out. On second thought, I'm gonna wait on these because I want to get some other stuff done before lunchtime. I'm a little slower because I had to run and get those washers and checked on some fields. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the stripper up and raise up the header and connect those hoses like I want to. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell, just look at the bottom of the cab and then that cross member of the header, it gets a little bit bigger. So obviously it makes sense, like there's more weight over there, it's going to do that. So that's why, one, the gauge wheel is going to help while we're stripping, but two, while we'll put that extra weight on the side. And I'll show you Dad's. So we're going to build a bracket, a short one that kind of comes here down to the end. Sorry, I'm not showing you. Comes from here, comes down to the end with some brackets to put some weights on. I'll show you what that's going to look like. So, see that? This piece right there. So, got some angles, but at least we can copy this one to figure that out. And then Dad bought these weights. I'm hoping I can just use some tractor weights. We'll see. And that'll just help us sit more level. So here on the end, I already got these started. So all I got to do is just tighten them up. But the ones in the middle, I got to clean. I've got to bend these cotter pins. And then, so anyways, can't get to all that stuff when it's on the ground, so. That's not going anywhere. I've got all my tools here. Clean the fittings, oil the O-ring, and all the other stuff. So let's see what we can get into. Come on. There's my plug, keep dirt out. I'm sure it did a great job. A little bit of oil so that O-ring can seal better. And then my two wrenches. Oh, what the heck was that about? It's not 7/8? Huh. Must be 13/16. Yeah, 13/16. I don't know why. I haven't had it out of my toolbox. And I took these apart before. I'm gonna go back and check this other one. How's that make sense? That one's 7/8. And for sure, different. All right, I'm just trying to get some things out of the way now that it's up. I'm gonna go ahead and get this on the toolbar to get it, mostly get it out of the way, but also it needs to come on. So here we go. All right, mounted, tightened up. I'll check it again before on that one bolt. I can't get the socket on. I have to do it by hand, so I'll check that again later. But I'm gonna stop there for now for lunch. I gotta run to my parents and do something for them before I go home for lunch, and then I'll come back, and what I'm gonna work on is I'm gonna put some of this caulking. This is the caulking. I'm gonna use that to fill in some of these wear spots on these bonnets. I got all those. I got all of the plates cut and drilled out. So those are ready to go on, like I've showed you before. Did I not lose? I missed those. Sorry. I'm gonna put some of this caulking here to try to just fill that gap in so more dirt and stuff doesn't get in there. Actually, no, I didn't forget this one. I just put that on, so I'm gonna take that off, do the same thing, fill it in. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe leaving that on creates like a little channel that'll be easier to keep that caulk from running out. I can just kind of smear it in there, because I should never really, well, I guess if these wear out, which they're kind of worn. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. Sorry, I'll stop that. But yeah, I'll do that probably this afternoon on all those. And then, what's this? I guess I did forget to do these. I'll take those off. So I'll do that. And then the other thing, I'm going to start taking off these, what's left of these poly shields on these shoes. I've got new ones of those and new bolts. So I may work on some of that. That's easy stuff to do by myself until Dad gets back, so he can help me with this. Well, actually, I don't have the parts. I gotta go call. Man, I'm thinking out loud again. I gotta call John Deere and see if those tools are in, so we can replace that crankshaft seal again. So I'll see you after lunch. It's in fact not after lunch. It is the next morning. I took my camera home to charge over lunch and didn't remember to get it. So sorry. So I did the things I told you I was going to do after lunch. I started getting these sensor shoes put on. Had a slight problem because I guess I'm an idiot. I didn't tell them enough bolts and nuts for that. I told them exactly half of what I needed, so that's awesome. Hopefully I'm getting my truck back soon. This week would be great. It's been a lot longer than they told me, so hopefully I can get that. I'll go to Albany and I'll get the rest of those. So can't finish that project, but you know, part of it. I got the fuel filters changed. You can't tell, but see, I wrote some dates and hours on all the filters so that, see, there's a hydraulic filter, so that I remember what was what on the filters. So I got that done, and then I think the last thing I intended to do was to get some of this caulking put in there, and it's still a little soft and pliable. I don't know if that's, we'll see. That's just mainly just to keep water and dirt from getting in there and, you know, making a mess. Water getting in there and freezing or whatever. So got that done. I just need to button those back up once that caulking sets up just a little bit more. It's still a little tacky, like I just told you. So Dad's gonna be here in a minute. We're gonna get this auger put together. So I put what I thought maybe was a good number of washers in there. Maybe need to do another so it's tight up against that lock collar and keeps that bearing from spinning. And then we can put it together, and then I can get this row unit on, and then we can get this header unhooked from the stripper, and then we can work on taking that stripper apart again for the crankshaft seal, and then we can start working on this angle bracing that we got to do. Just we're getting there, slowly but surely. Well, it's been a day since I last saw you. Been sweating. I'm a little bit dirty, tired. I'm ready to go home for lunch. but it was productive. Got the row unit on, made everything more difficult when you can't get into the middle, but we got the auger put together there, which is great news. See, this is where they made the connection together. So got the tolerances right. Those washers worked good, we think. We'll find out. This was the thing that just about kicked my butts just now, getting this plate on. It's very heavy with this hydraulic motor on there. I need to plug those up before I go home. So got that on. We undid this a little bit to see if there was much load on these bearings because of what we did with those washers squeezing against the lock collar. We'll look at that again some more next time we work. So we're getting closer. Got to get some pulleys and some different things on here. Obviously check the load on that bearing. We're going to stop here, leave the hoses off for now because now we got to do some measuring and figuring to make this bracket I've told you about. But everything is good to go here except for these couplers. I got to slide over and connect those together and bolt through that. And then wire and harness, we'll do that, all that stuff later. Once we get some of this more put together, we'll unhook the header. And then be able to do some other things to fix that crankshaft seal. That's the word, not crankshaft shaft. Anyways, heat exhaustion. So I'm gonna go home and just gotta call that my truck's ready. Maybe I'll go to Abilene and pick it up because I am missing my pickup. So I'll see you when I see you, and if not, thanks for farming. Thanks for watching. If you're gonna farm, farm it.